With the 2016 Atlantic hurricane season officially underway, there's a call for more young Barbadians to volunteer with their respective district emergency organizations. Chairman of the St. George North DEO, Roderick Yard, says the organization is struggling to catch the interest of younger people. He was speaking during a press conference at the Department of Emergency Management to mark the start of the 2016 season.
We find that there are many young persons who are really interested in becoming a part of the organization for one reason or the other. I have had the personal experience of being in the field after Thomas, and what we will probably refer to as the guys on the block, their first response to you is that they would like to get some of that work, but when we simply say to them, hey, this is not work, we're doing this voluntary, they all shy away. They're no longer interested, right? So we have to find a method of getting younger people into the DO structure.
Meantime, Deputy Director of the Barbados Meteorological Services, Sonia Nurse, is telling Barbadians to be prepared. Ms. Nurse says although the season is expected to be near average, it only takes one hurricane to do real damage to the island.
So we would urge persons to continue to prepare for the hurricane season as normal. Listen to your weather reports, make all the necessary preparations, and don't be complacent. Put everything in place, your insurance, make sure your property is well protected if you have to do any repairs, things like that.
Tragedy was averted in the Bush Hall community yesterday evening after a pickup ran into a house there. According to eyewitnesses, the truck barreled into a wood and wall structure around at 6:30, trapping one man under the vehicle and injuring another.
Me and my friend were standing there talking, and then we just hear this big boom, and then we come outside, we see the van on top of the hill, and then we went and see, and then I pulled the man from underneath and then the man run out the van and run through again. So babes, I know hit the van.
Well, the extent of the injuries of those involved is not yet known. Residents who were in the area said it is a popular liming spot on evenings, and many were overheard lamenting that many more people could have been injured. One woman was grateful that her child was spared.
I want to thank this young lady here for saving my daughter's life, because she's usually going there and she was down here when the accident happened, and I owe her my life because my daughter would have been there.
Education Minister Ronald Jones says the true message of the meaning of 50 years of independence needs to be told. He says every citizen in Barbados has a responsibility to the country and to work hard. Mr. Jones says the worth of these celebrations being undertaken by government cannot be undervalued.
We need to celebrate these things. They're not small, and I'm saying we will not be 50 years again. We look forward to 75 and 100. Some of you might be around, or your children, and we have to talk to them and let them understand the journey that this country would have made, yes, since 1966, but sometimes we can look even further back and let them get a perspective of what went on long before, not as a means of condemnation or as a means of creating racial divide, but as learning points.
Minister Jones was speaking during the launch of the Democratic Labour Party's lecture series, Some Thoughts, at Almond Bay last night. The series will consist of 8 lectures, 5 of which will be held here, 1 in England, 1 in the US, and the other in Canada. General Secretary of the party, George Pilgrim, says the series is not a political one. He says Barbadians need to share in the building of a knowledge society.
We have intentionally selected locations to accommodate the series for ease of public support. This activity is not a member design activity, but one framed for heavy public consumption. The lens through which I view political institutions informs me of a role where educating a people and not designing a machine to fight elections is a key ingredient to reframing how voters view political parties.
Local non-governmental organizations are being encouraged to join together in their charitable efforts. This was the message from President of the Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society, Kimar Safri, as he spoke at the first National NGO Network Summit at the Barbados Hilton Hotel. He says the summit gives the NGOs a chance to network and put collaborative efforts in place.
We thought that if we bring together all the NGO organizations and also those who want to be a part of NGO sectors and those who are aspiring to become a part of NGO, we thought the best to bring them together, network them, let them hear from the panel of donors and NGO leaders and the corporate sector all in one, to actually show them and to tell them what it is that they look for. And they rightfully said today that they look for collaboration, they look for efforts that we put together in the NGO sector to make the NGO a lot better and a lot more sustainable.
Noting that smaller NGOs are not usually able to afford rent to set up an office, Mr. Safri says help has been offered.
A gentleman called me up and said, you know, I want to give my building in town to the charities, to this charity network. And you can actually run it, and it could hold about 50 charities that are willing to start off just office space and expand as they're ready into, you know, broader horizons if they want our bigger building. But this will give them a start, and it would be where they could set up the whole NGO system.
Well, registered NGOs will also receive some assistance from local tech company Simplified Apps Inc. in the form of free.bb domain names.
Now my company, Simplified Apps, could be able to work in a project that allows us to build 50 WordPress websites for 50 NGOs, free of cost, in full collaboration with the BCC. In fact, BCC is supplying 30 students that are working at the Ministry of Education currently right now preparing, and from this event being launched today, we will be preparing 50 websites from the list of registered NGOs.
We'll have regional and international news after this break. Stay with us.